effective out high or down low. Here he is out high. Holds, waits, fires, and scores! MATVEI MICHKOV has his first goal at the Wells Fargo Center.
This is the Liberty Yell episode 126. I am your host, Chris Stumpo, alongside Derek Dunn. And Derek, we are one game away from making the playoffs. How do you feel?
I feel like we might as well win the Stanley Cup if we actually manage to pull off making the playoffs in a season where I think every logical thinker was convinced they would be tanking for Gavin McKenna in January. Like, I don't think it's easy to forget now, but it was not that long ago where they had lost 17 of their last 20 or whatever it was. And Gavin McKenna was basically the only thing they had a shot at of note. And now all of a sudden they become the best team in hockey over the final 2 months, pull the inverse KONECNY, and they are on the cusp of making the postseason.
The exact stats, and this is from since they returned from the Olympic break, February 25th against Washington, which is a game that they lost, by the way. They are the fourth best team in hockey, 16-7-1, 33 points in 24 games. I mean, and it, like you said, I mean, we're going to get into it a lot this episode, but one of the things that I think me and you consistently were saying was, I mean, and all season too, was if this was getting led by the young guys, if this was MICHKOV, ZEGRAS, DRYSDALE making the push, then we'd be singing a different tune. And until that happens, we will be criticizing, not criticizing, or being a little bit down on the winning, because they were clawing OT wins, shootout wins, depending on VLADAR to stand on his head. But now, since the Olympic break, everything's switched. It's been ZEGRAS, DRYSDALE, MICHKOV, Barkey, Bump, and then Martone, obviously, 7 points in his first 7 NHL games. It's been the young guys leading the charge. I mean, I think KONECNY has like 11 points in his last 14 games or so, or like 10 points in his last 14 games. Noah Cates, who I didn't even mention, has been, I think he's number one. I have it right here. Hold on. I think I'm pretty sure he's number one. Yeah, number one on the team in points, 20 points in 24 games. MICHKOV is second with 18 and 24. So it's been those guys, ZEGRAS. I mean, Tippett's been his normal self, I think. One game he looks like fucking Gretzky out there. Then the next, it's like, where is he? But that's like the main thing that I think I want to talk about is the fact that this has been led by the young guys. It hasn't been what we watched for the first 3 months of the season.
Yeah, and it all began, and I guess KONECNY more or less confirmed this today, with a stylistic change, a structural change, and you can see it when they're out there. They are playing a lot more aggressively, be it with the puck or without the puck. They're not doing what they were doing for the first 6 months of the season, which was basically punting all the time and hoping they could defend their way into goals. They are actually trying to score. They are actually trying to make plays, and the defense, ironically, has gotten better. I think it hasn't gotten that much better because it was already good. But what happened was before, we were the world's worst offense, maybe in recorded history, and a pretty good defense. Now we're still a pretty good defense, like a legitimately good defense, except now we're also a legitimately good offense. And
I want to... Where's the...
It's benefited all the young guys because this is how the players you've been drafting were meant to play hockey. Like, MATVEI MICHKOV was not built to play conservative hockey. I could do that same routine. Porter Martone was not built to play conservative hockey. None of these dudes were. You did not draft a bunch of guys who... You didn't draft Sean Couturier 12 times over. You don't lack high-end skill anymore. This isn't 2022, where if you say you have the talent, I have to start making fun of you. You actually do have the talent now.
Yeah.
And they
I think I always go back to... Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, that was pretty much the way to cap it off for me. Is they have had the talent pretty much this entire time, and it's why I've been excoriating them so hard, because they opted freely not to use it, and they started using it, and look, the success.
Using your players in an optimal way is a good thing, Derek. Moving ZEGRAS to center, playing MICHKOV on the right side, doing those things will result in better play. That's just boom. Like putting MICHKOV on the side that he's been playing his entire life, and then giving him a competent center, and then like a Barkey or a bump, and then putting Z in his natural position, and then dropping Couturier back to 4C, back where he should be. Like you said, wow. I mean, this is stuff that like normal fans have been asking for the first 3 months of the season. But let me now I'm new to this. Let me share my screen, and then we can watch what TK said. Let me know if you can hear it, Derek. Can you see it now?
Yeah, I can see it.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if we can hear it now.
I think guys, like a lot of the young guys that we have, to be honest with you, they've been farther ahead than you would expect. You know what I mean? Like they also play a professional style where they make the right plays at the right time, and so you can expect them to go into tonight's game not really change anything. And like I said, it doesn't change. We've been playing this style for a month now, so we're not going to build up tonight's game any different. I think
that's quite the comment there, Derek. Did everyone hear that? I don't know if that was
basically confirmed. They changed their style, and it happened a little bit after the Olympic break, because at first, during the start of the Olympic break, they weren't great. And the wins they were getting were mostly a product of VLADAR. But a switch flipped not soon after that, where all of a sudden they have become one of the more dominant teams in the NHL. Like they aren't just getting Tocchet style 2023, 2024 Canucks PDO. I believe their PDO is pretty good. They're shooting at a decent clip, and they're getting all the saves. So you can argue about whether they're actually a top 4 team in hockey, but even the underlying results suggest that this is a really good bona fide playoff team. Since that point.
I think the offense that he was running, you see a lot. I mean, like we've been talking about, a lot less of the dumping. I mean, you see the dump-ins when you need to see it, because sometimes you just have to. But I see a lot less actual, like, I need to get this back to the point type play.
Yes.
A lot more freedom I'm seeing in the offensive zone. And like Konecny said, it's hard to add the guys that they have added. Like, you're adding Barkey, Bump, Martone, all these young, skilled guys. And it's really hard to add these players and be like, yeah, play this way, play this specific way, instead of just letting them go out there and be themselves. And I think credit to Tocchet, he's allowed them to go out there and be. He's allowed Alex Bump to be out there and go be Alex Bump. He's allowed Porter Martone to go be Porter Martone. MICHKOV has been MICHKOV. It's been really fun, man. Like I said, I'm going to hang my hat on the fact that this has been the young guys doing it. It hasn't. I mean, DVORAK has chipped in, don't get me wrong, but he's done what he was brought in here to do. He's been like a chip guy, a support guy. He's been perfect for that. He hasn't been leading anything. That's been the younger guys. That's been MICHKOV. That's been Porter. That's been, TIPPETT at times. I'm liking it, man. Like, it's really encouraging to see. This is what we've been asking for. This is what we said. We'll stop being so negative if we start seeing some of these young guys lead the charge. And I think Jamie Drysdale is somebody that I would love to hear you talk about, because I think his game, and I know a lot of people are going to talk about Cutter Gauthier scoring 40 goals and blah, blah, blah. I really do think we have a really good defenseman in this kid. I mean, when people forget he's 24 years old, 24 years old.
Interestingly, I don't know that much has changed from Jamie Drysdale from October to now. He's been getting a lot better results with the team But I think a lot of that's because he was doing the same things then, and he's finally getting rewarded for it now. At one point, there was a lot of times through the season where it was like Drysdale would make some heroic play on a retrieval where he made 2 forecheckers miss and then hit a stretch pass up to the forward who then decided, time to dump it in. And it would just be a nothing shift, and it might as well not have happened. Well, nowadays, when Drysdale makes some heroic play on the retrieval to get the team out of their end, we're getting a rush chance. We're getting a shot on goal from forwards who can legitimately score. We have 8 or 9 guys where I'm not stunned if they score. And yeah, I think he's been on basically a 50-point pace with inconsistent power play time for the second half of the season, I believe. That's really impressive, especially given the fact that he's been sharing power play duties with Rasmus Ristolainen, which I don't know. I don't understand. But nevertheless, he is basically actualized the Jamie Drysdale I was talking about in October, because I did a whole thing on Drysdale and how well Drysdale was playing back in October and all the things he was doing that was leading to really good on-ice results for him. Well, that's all still happening, but now the expected goals are becoming actual goals because we're not just dumping the puck in. We're not just giving up on good plays that Drysdale starts. We are keeping the chain going until we get pucks in the net.
I think a lot of what we just talked about with the forwards and how they're trying more plays goes to the defenseman too. Like, I'm seeing a lot more aggressive plays from Drysdale. I've seen him use his shot a lot more, which is really good. And I don't think a lot of people talk about how underrated his slap shot is. He scored a couple of really clutch goals with that shot. But you know what the funny thing is? We were talking about how great the team's been, and they really have been fun to watch. They're still bottom 10 in both power play and PK since the Olympic break. Power play, they're at third worst at 13.9%. And PK, they are 7th worst at 73.7%. So we're getting these results with piss poor special teams play still to this day. I mean, this has been an all year thing. Rice, first time in years I've been excited and optimistic about the future. Yeah, man. I mean, this is time to be optimistic. I saw somebody was like, what if they get like stomped? I'm like, what if anything? Like, this is the time to be optimistic. This is the time to have hope. It's fun. Let's have fun. I mean, we had fucking BT and who was that, Drunk Gritty, arguing all day on the timeline. Like, well, what's up with that?
Going to war over Sean Couturier.
Over Couturier's one
really good flying overhead because Sean Couturier had a 3-point-9 against Winnipeg.
Torch becomes Vegas head coach. Derek's no longer locked in the concrete cellar. That's true. How do we feel about Tortorella over there in Vegas? And I loved what he said when Eric Johnson asked him about what the difference between his coaching style in Philly was to there. And your reaction to it was pretty funny too. Torch was like, yeah, I just get the fuck out of the way. They know what they're doing. And if I think they're going off the rails, I kind of just put them back on. And Derek, I was talking to Derek last night, and Derek was like, yeah, I wish you'd fucking did that while he was here.
Like, bro, that's exactly what I wanted from you, to a T, down to the slightest word.
That team is, I think, perfect for him. I think they actually might make a little run there. It's a solid team, man. It's a Tortorella team.
They have a roster that was practically built from scratch to be a Tortorella roster.
Yeah, big, fast, physical, like everything you could ask for. I mean, everything he would ask for.
No, really, yeah. Like they have the ability to play sort of high-paced, smash-mouth hockey, and that's what he wants to do.
Who else? Patrick Waugh got fired from the Islanders and replaced with Pete DeBoer. That was a pretty wild. Wait, was that? Am I right about that? Is that where?
Well, it certainly happened since we last been on the air. It was kind of right in the middle of the playoff chase, which is crazy.
Wild, yeah. Both the Torts and the DeBoer hires were right in the middle of playoff chases. But
at least Vegas, I kind of understood because they were in anyway. They didn't have to worry about getting in, at least not that much. But they wanted to be in a position to where they could actually do damage in the playoffs. They didn't feel like they could, as long as they still had Cassidy at the reins, and so they made that change, and I understand it. It is once again Vegas doing some absolutely maniacally ruthless stuff, which I love. Frankly, it's great.
You do like
the Islanders? I feel like that was just pure desperation, just reeked of total desperation because the season was slipping away, and now it has slipped away. I don't even think they're in the hunt anymore.
I could check for you.
I wouldn't be
Isles
too
are
upset if I
eliminated.
were
No, they're
fan, though. You still employ Matthew Schaefer.
I mean, that's the only reason why they were where they were to begin with. I mean, you were banking on Sorokin and banking on an 18-year-old all season. That was their entire team. So they should probably make some pretty significant changes in the offseason in terms of like roster construction. But I want to throw this at you real quick. Biggest game in 5 years, Derek. 5 years, 220 days was the last game, like big playoff. I mean, I know this isn't a playoff game, but Game 7 of that Islanders game was 5 years, 219 days ago. 20 days ago, because I tweeted that yesterday. So wild to think about. And that wasn't even home at the former Wells Fargo Center. So it's even longer. It's 2,920 days since the last home game in Philly. Playoff home game. Crazy to think about. So this will be the biggest game in that building since April 22nd, 2018.
And if you look at the roster from now and then, there's basically nobody here that was actually on that roster. There's two or three guys, maybe.
So I have it right here. The roster from the last Philadelphia Flyers home game in South Philly was this. Top line. Man, we're not even get through the top line before I start laughing. That's crazy. Giroux, Valtteri Filppula, Voracek, Michael Raffl, Nolan Patrick, Konecny. Lawton,
Konecny and two dudes who don't exist anymore.
Lawton, Couturier, Simmons. Matt Reed, Yuri Laterra, and Dale Weiss was the fourth line. The defensemen were Provorov and Ghost, which, I mean, that would be a solid pair today.
Ghost is in the arena, not for our team, but he's there.
Hag McDonald, and then Manning Gudis was the third pair. Brandon Manning and Racco Gudis was the third pair, and then Michael Neuvert was the goalie.
So we have two guys who were playing that game.
Yes, we have Coots and Konecny.
That's crazy. First of all, there's a joke in there somewhere about how you just cannot escape Coots and Konecny.
Konechny's playing on the same line, on the same wing. It's pretty funny. Changes have to be coming in Detroit after that collapse. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, honestly, I feel like we've been saying that for fucking years, though. Like every offseason, I feel like we say the same thing. Oh, they're gonna make some big changes, and then they're like, "Yeah, Patrick Kane, 1 year deal."
I mean, talk about GMs who can't close. Steve Yzerman might be even more worthy of the joke than Danny Briere.
Yeah. That dude is.
I might have to do Yzerman versus the allegations over the summer.
You might actually have to write like a fucking blog about that at one point, because it's probably one of the the people who talk about bottoming out and rebuilding that's one. I mean, they didn't really bottom out though. They had a weird fucking rebuild, man. Like, didn't they add a bunch of like veterans 2 years ago too? Like JT Compher went over there for a little bit, and like very weird retool, whatever the fuck they did. But to get back to the Flyers, I think it's pretty interesting I kind of want to get in Martone in a little bit, but I want to get your opinion real quick on the fact that the special teams play. Like, what do you think? Like, is there anything that they can do at this point in the season, especially for that power play? Like, I don't think they're just going to randomly turn on a power play in the postseason if they make it. And I think that's really going to hurt them. Like, if you don't go into the postseason with a power play, especially a PK too, like both of those are or bottom 10.
The refs have very overactive whistles in the first round of the playoffs. They do every year. It gets lesser and lesser as you go on, but in that first round, the refs have the whistle in their mouths at all times, waiting to blow it. Sometimes they'll blow it on accident and still give you a penalty. And I don't know how a team that has a quasi occasionally functional penalty kill and a totally dysfunctional power play actually wins in that setting. And I don't know that there's really I don't think there's a change, at least not one you can make this season. I mean, we can talk about tinkering with the units and I can have my preferred unit, but like what is wrong with the power play at this point? You could write an entire doctoral thesis on what is wrong with the Flyers power play. Basically everything. You could do separate chapterized addendums on all the different layered catastrophes happening within the Flyers power play.
You could. You should. You know what's wrong with the power play? MATVEI MICHKOV isn't on there with the best players on the team. I mean, like, it's not that hard.
That would help. There is one thing that would help.
That's what I don't understand. Like, you've never had a good power play, so why do you feel the need to split them up?
Yeah,
if you've never had one.
Even when they put him on the first unit, they put him net front and don't give him the opportunity to actually touch the puck.
All right, shout out Anthony. What'd you say?
That even when they actually put Michkov on the first power play unit, they put him net front and don't let him touch the puck. It's crazy.
Yeah, like the one spot that I really don't want him in. And like you said, I like Michkov running a wall better than I like ZEGRAS running the wall, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm not saying that ZEGRAS is bad at running the wall. He's pretty good at it. They do it in different ways, but I do like the way Michkov runs. I should be Michkov and Porter Martone looking at each other from both walls. That's what it should be. Power play should be Tyson Forster on half walls. I think, Tyson's another guy that I wouldn't mind there either. Z and Drysdale on the points, Martone in front, 1 and 2 Michkov. Yeah, Martone in front. His net front skills are already one of the best in the NHL, I think, at this point.
Yeah, he's really good in front of the net. Just unbelievably good, actually, for a 19-year-old. One of the better debuting net front players legitimately I've ever seen.
I want you to talk more about that because I was excited for you to talk about Martone and his adjustment into the NHL because I think it's been seamless.
It's been so smooth. And yes, he's had to, like every young player, he has had to kind of put portions of his game on hold. Like, I don't think you see a lot of the same playmaking that you were seeing and puck control that you were seeing in the OHL. But it doesn't matter because at this point, he has leaned into the scoring side of his game, his shot, his hands around the net. Most importantly, his ability to find space, to free himself up, to get these chances. All of that has come into the NHL at an elite level. His spacing in particular is wild. The number of times that he gets himself open, it isn't even totally counted by the number of shots on goal he has, which is crazy. He's shooting like 4 times a game over 7 games. He's cooled down slightly from the 14-2 nonsense, but even the cooling off period, he's still shooting 2 or 3 times a game. And there were times where there was a time in the Winnipeg game where he didn't actually get a stick on this puck. Miraculously. I don't know if he missed or I think the defenseman just missed him. But the defenseman had the puck. I think it was like York or Sealer. It was one of those.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, they fire the puck off. Martone is in a net front battle, and he times a spin off of the net front battle and gets his stick in the lane right as the defenseman goes to shoot the puck. Little instances of timing like that, and he's right there for the tip. So wide open tip. If the defenseman actually hits that stick, which he doesn't, that's probably a goal. Now, you can't predict deflections, but let's just say it's a really high danger chance. And Martone gets 4 of these a game. I'm talking like legitimately solid scoring chances. There's an Austin Matthews quality to it, and Jason Robertson has been this way this year in particular, where it's almost mathematically impossible for him not to score goals because he gets so many chances. And like, even if he's not finishing well, he's still going to score.
Yeah, and like you said, they're not just random chances. They're high-grade scoring chances from the slot, wherever he is at the moment. I mean, like you said, his ability to get in those spots. And also another thing, his wall play for a 19-year-old is incredible. The way he can take the puck off the wall in one seamless move and make a play like that is incredible. I mean,
because as tall as he is, like, his height should be working against him there, actually, but it doesn't. He handles the puck immaculately in those spaces. And especially once he gets stronger, right now you can tell he doesn't really have NHL level strength, especially for his frame. Like, he kind of gets bullied a little bit out there, but it doesn't really matter because he's so smart, he's so slick that he is just going to find ways to impact games. It's really incredible to watch.
He's not the best skater either. Like, imagine when he gets that NHL stride. Wait till he puts some weight on, muscle, more comfortable. I mean, this kid is going to be a really, really good player for us. I mean, we have 2 players who I think are going to be superstars in this league, in MATVEI, MICHKOV, and Porter Martone. Like we said, we might have the Avengers on wing, Derek, and we might be seeing the reason why we might not have to go out and have a 1 seed, because you have these dudes. It's like, okay, yeah, sure, ZEGRAS between them, sure. Go out and grab Matty Beniers next season, sure. We can survive with those 2C guys that could be 1Cs around these wingers because you have these guys.
Yeah, like, look at what Martone is doing in his first 7 NHL games with Christian Dvorak as a center. And in a way, Jack Hahn, who does pretty good tactical hockey work, was highlighting this. In a way, he does rely on his centers, especially through transition, because he knows very well that he is not a dangerous puck carrier right now. And so in that way, he's kind of relying on his centers to get speed through the neutral zone, and he's going to hit them with a good pass. And if he's getting rush chances, it's because of that. But he's putting Christian Dvorak in a spot to where even Christian Dvorak, and I don't mean that to necessarily shit on him, but even Christian Dvorak can do what Porter Martone needs him to do. It's not like we're saying Porter Martone is reliant on Connor McDavid. If that were the case, we'd have problems. But instead, he's basically like, just get me any center who can get some speed going through the neutral zone and get me a return pass, and we're cooking. Doesn't even have to be anybody particularly special. And then MICHKOV, like, he is turning Noah Cates into Sebastian Aho. I don't even know what happened.
Dude, wait, no, seriously. Noah Cates has 20 points in his last 24 games. And it doesn't matter which winger you're putting on the wing with him and MICHKOV and Bump and Barkey. That line has been consistent for the last 3 weeks, last month.
Yeah. It really is wild watching a 21-year-old Russian barely speaking the language just pulling off a freaking Kaprizov where it's like, oh, yeah, Noah Cates, got you. You're my center. This is Sam Steele level shit. This was like when Kaprizov started Sam Steele into his 1C. And that's what they're doing now. That's what these guys are doing right this second. Like, Porter Martone has turned Christian Dvorak into a number 1 center. Not really, but practically speaking, he has turned Christian Dvorak into a top 6 center because he can skate. That was the only requirement. It's like, hey, you can skate. I don't need anything else.
I think that was always kind of the argument. What?
Like, Matthew Tkachuk basically says, all right, you give me a center that can skate, and I'll give you a 1C. He doesn't have to do anything else. If he can skate, he doesn't even – holding a stick is optional. If he can skate, we're good. And then Michkov is over here like, yeah, Noah Cates, you're a 1C now, buddy.
Seriously, though. He's
and then Trevor ZEGRAS is a quasi 1C.
Putting ZEGRAS at his natural position is beneficial to the team. Crazy.
Ooh.
Crazy. But to go back on Martone and his wall play, that one assist that he had to DVORAK, the tip pass on his backhand, I think that's a perfect example of how good he is right now already with wall play, with the one touches, and like you said, putting himself in areas that you don't really see a 19-year-old know to put himself in. Like you said, once he starts skating better, more power into his legs, puts more muscle onto the frame. And like you said, he kind of gets thrown around a little bit, but he doesn't back down from anything. Sure, you could throw me around. Like, I thought one time he broke his fucking collarbone because he got like two-handed cross-checked in the back and kind of flew into the boards.
NHL debut, he loses a tooth trying to pot a Michkov pass.
That was part of his lip. That wasn't a tooth.
Oh, okay.
Came out a couple of days, but
whatever. Get smashed in the mouth trying to pot a goal.
A piece of your fucking body came out of your mouth. So the irony of Michkov getting Kate Selke votes and talk at Jack Adams votes.
Damn you, Michkov.
It's crazy though, because it's not like you just did the fucking obvious things. Like, I'm gonna repeat it a lot on this show, but the ZEGRAS to center, Michkov back to his right wing, Couturier on a lesser role because everyone and their mom knew who was watching hockey he should not be in any top six. Putting Martone with a guy who can skate, like, these aren't out of the box ideas. These are just pretty straightforward ideas that most NHL teams would do. I'm happy they're making them. Don't get me wrong. Like, I would rather be sitting here getting happy than sitting here critiquing them. Like, it's fun. The only thing that's like negative right now is the power play and the fact that Bump isn't playing. But I don't want Bump on that fourth line, nor do I think that fourth line should be broken up right now because they're actually really fun to watch. Glendetting's actually a pretty solid ad. He's not a total plug. Hathaway, I think you're interchangeable with him, but I don't want Bump on that fourth line. If Bump's playing, I want him on that third line with Michkov. And that's just the depth they have right now. That's just what has to happen. Offseason, that's a completely different conversation that we'll have on here. They'll probably make a move on wing, but that's, like I said, to be talked about later. But right now, in this moment, this team has serious depth. Like, Barkey, God forbid, knock on wood, gets hurt. You got Alex Bump, who has, I think, 8 points in his first 14 games in the NHL.
And he can't even get in the damn lineup.
And it's not like it's
not crazy
that he can't get into the lineup.
Crazy.
No.
You're being like, how dare you not play Alex Bump? Like, no, like, legitimately, I kind of understand why we're not playing Alex Bump. I could just as easily argue you probably should be. You could have that argument, but it's not an egregious decision either way.
Over who, though?
I feel like he should probably be splitting time with Barkey. He might be better than Barkey right now, but it's close.
I agree.
That's kind of what
you're not taking Barkey out of the lineup after that game he had last game.
No, after last game specifically, absolutely not.
Yeah, so he's not going to be Bump, I'm talking about, back in the lineup tonight, but maybe next game if Barkey doesn't really have a crazy game. But like I said, you can never in a million years walk up to Barkey after the game that he had and be like, yeah, you're sitting for Bump. Like, all right, I'll give you a
no, absolutely not. And that's kind of just me making a point. Like, you really do have so much depth that a guy who has
crazy
his first 13 career games, I'm sitting here saying, well, maybe you could play him over this one guy.
Maybe, but
maybe.
And
maybe
like,
you
no.
could put this one guy on the fourth line, but even then, I'm not totally infatuated with the idea. So, that's the conversation we're having right now.
It's certainly a good problem to have.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of the opposite of the conversation we're having on defense, honestly. At this point, I might be more concerned with the defense than I am with the centers.
I don't even think that's like a hot take or anything. I'm definitely more concerned with the fact that they don't have a number one defenseman.
Yeah. And they don't exactly have a lot of depth of sure, they don't have a bona fide number one, but they got 4 killers who belong in an NHL top 4.
Like 2 of them.
Yeah.
Sanheim and Drysdale right now are probably the only 2 guys. I mean, Risto has been solid, but even I sometimes think I overrate Risto. Like I think even I go a little bit overboard. Like, he's solid. Like, sometimes with him with the puck in his own zone, the stone hands, like he really does bother me sometimes. But he's been good this year. I'm not gonna shit on Risto. But yeah, probably 2 guys who would play in other teams' top 4s right now in Sanheim and Drysdale. But other than that, no. And listen, I'm excited for JIRICEK, but it's a pretty big question mark right there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Excited for him to get called up. We'll see if we win tonight, knock on wood. He'll probably play tomorrow. We'll probably see who's hurt if we win tonight. Who's a little banged up and won't play on Tuesday. I have a feeling KONECNY is going to be one of those guys. Let me pull up. I don't want to be wrong when I say it. I want to see how many points he has since we came back. He's got 14 points in 21 games. He is 11th on the team. Wait, no. I lied. I didn't lie about how many he has. I lied about he's 6th on the team in points with 14 and 21. Behind TIPPETT, ZEGRAS, DVORAK, MICHKOV, and Cates. So like I said in the beginning of that episode, he hasn't been driving it. It hasn't been Coots, who only has 10 and 22. It's been Cates, MICHKOV, ZEGRAS, TIPPETT, DVORAK, Martone, Bump, Barkey. Like, it's been those guys. So exciting times in Philly, bro. I mean, like I said, this is the biggest game in South Philadelphia in fucking 5 years, dude. More than that.
Pretty incredible.
Way more than that. 2,920 days. What the fuck, man? We deserve this shit, dude. I don't care what side you're on. The tank side, the playoff side. This is good shit. This isn't KONECNY and DVORAK and VLADAR'S standing on his head, willing this team to shoot out victories anymore. This is the young kids playing a different style of hockey, a fun style of hockey, and they're winning games. So I'm all the way to fucking.
I mean, what do I want to do? Am I going to tell Porter Martone to not debut as a point per game player in the NHL? Am I just going to tell him, yo, stop that?
Yeah, move over a little bit. I can't see your face.
Stop being good at hockey now. All right. But I'm just going to tell him, yo, stop. Stop being good at hockey. Stop scoring points. Stop getting assists. Stop doing that shit. I'm going to tell MICHKOV, hey, what the fuck you doing? Why the hell are you a point per game player on under 16 minutes a night? Stop doing that.
Can you talk about his shot inside? I know you had that 20% clip stat. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes. One of the biggest development points for MICHKOV, I feel like this might even be bigger than skating, is MICHKOV might have to come to the realization that he is a
I'd be with it.
I'm totally with it. Can we do that? Let's definitely do that. Danny, my boy, it's time to close. All right. But anyway, MICHKOV kind of views himself as an in-tight scorer, as a guy who's going to get to the net and get as many goals as he can, sometimes through garbage goals. But if you look at his efficiency from various areas of the ice, his shooting percentage from various areas of the ice for the last 2 years, so this is both years, it's a pretty big sample, he is right about an average finisher in high danger areas. Neither great nor bad, but when you get him in the high slot or the right side of the high slot. That mid-range area, particularly in the middle to the right side of the ice, he is a ridiculous shooter. From the high slot, where is his most potent area, he is a 25% shooter. That is a literal number. He is I think 23% this year and 27% last year. Maybe those numbers are flipped, but he is a 25% shooter between both years from the high slot. That I have yet to find like the superstar scorers of the league who are hitting that rate. It's a pretty ridiculous shot he has, and it's on pretty decent volume. Like his volume right now from that area is right around the 75th percentile of the league. If you were shooting 25% on 75th percentile volume, you don't have to be a math genius to figure out that 75th percentile better become the 100th percentile. You better be shooting from that area more than anybody in the league. And I think the big switch being flipped for him will be when he figures out, oh, wait, my shot, my release, for whatever reason, gives goalies fits. They don't know what the hell to do with it.
I don't even think it's the shot. It's the way he sets the shot up.
Yeah, I think it's that. I think I would love to hear a goalie. Like, I mean, an Anderson or a Vladar go into the details of why this kid's release from that area is so good. Because it's not as obvious as, say, Connor Bedard, who's also a really lethal mid-range shooter. If you look at his wrist shot, the deception built in is really obvious. With Michkov, it's a lot subtler. Like, you know there's something going on there that goalies can't handle, but it's kind of hard to label what it is exactly. I'd love to hear a goalie go into it. It would be really fascinating.
I think me and you talked about it a little bit last night. I personally don't really remember seeing Michkov try the shots that he was trying in that Winnipeg game. Like, I know the score was what it was, and they were playing a little bit more loose than they would during a normal game. And I think it was the Sealer goal where he let another one of those shots coming down the right wall go, and it almost went in. And I remember talking to you last night, and I don't really remember seeing him take that type of shot in the NHL or even in the KHL when I watched him. That was more of an MHL thing that he did when he was like 16, 17. Yeah. So
for the last few years of Michkov's career, he has felt like a boy playing amongst men. And he's felt that way for pretty good reason, because he quite literally was a boy playing amongst men. And he really engineered his game around that, around the idea that he was constantly at a disadvantage and that he had to think his way through every problem because he was not going to be able to use any physical tool to his advantage. And he's really finally kind of adjusted his game to the point that he doesn't think that anymore. He's not playing as if he believes that. He's not playing as if he can't beat a guy one-on-one or beat a goalie with a clean shot. He now believes that he can do that because it's kind of been happening. He's taken these shots more in the last few games, even before Winnipeg. I do think Winnipeg was kind of the breaking point for it. But even beyond, like, there was another play right at the beginning of the Winnipeg game where it's kind of a nothing play. There's not a lot of amazing results to it, but he gets a puck on the wall, and instead of just sitting on the wall trying to make a good pass to the point or whatever, he actually just goes ahead, uses his puck protection abilities, and beats his guy off the wall like he did a couple of times early in the season. Collapses the defense. He makes a pass to his defenseman then, and all of a sudden it's a legitimately good scoring chance. It doesn't go anywhere. The play fizzles out. This time it definitely was Nick Seeler who just didn't do much with it. But
that was a hell of a shot by Seeler. Right there. I think it was Jay Verardi on the bench was like, ooh, or something like that. I think I made Zach clip it. But I think the exact play that you're talking about, Michkov coming off the wall and then using his body and puck protection to get into the middle. That's something that you saw a lot in the KHL. He did that a ton. And like you said, I think he's getting a little bit more comfortable doing that in the NHL. So I mean, this kid shows up big time for big games. So I think tonight's going to be fun, dude. Like, I really, he's going to be matched up with the Delorier line tonight. I think it might be a good night to put some money on MICHKOV point. I'm just saying. I'm not sponsored by anyone, but if you want to sponsor me, you can. MICHKOV point, lock it the fuck in. Flyers money line, lock it the fuck in. I had to tell people on the timeline to convince me not to throw 500 on the money line tonight. And that's how confident I am they win this game.
Get to 20 and to help win the game.
Bro, this is seriously crazy to think about. The fact that they haven't been in this type of situation in almost 5 years. In over 5 years. It really, like, every fan deserves this. Seriously. Like, I hope everyone woke up today, and because I personally woke up and had fun this morning. Like, seeing the timeline as lit as it was, as jumping as it was, everyone except BT and Trunkarity were getting along, getting hype, getting excited for the game. Everyone deserves this. Like, I really hope they win tonight.
Stunned that I might react differently when the team does different things.
What happened?
Oh, I said I'm not one guy who a couple of days ago was stunned that I might react.
I heard you, but
when the team does different things.
What dude was that?
I don't remember. Some rando on Twitter. I just remember because it was funny.
You're always going at someone with like 13 followers on Twitter.
Well, I don't check.
Fuck them, dude. I can't believe this, man. And then Forster, the addition of Forster. I mean, we talk about Martone and his ascension from college hockey, but I mean, Forster's coming right back into the thick of things and looking like he hasn't missed a beat. I mean, they've gotten that kid back, and that's been a huge boost. Obviously, Martone's been a huge boost. ZEGRAS in the mid, like, it's not surprising to see what they've been doing. If you take a step back and you look at all the little changes that they made every right change except for the power play, which like you said, at this point, I don't even think it's fixable unless you just throw all your eggs in the top basket, which I think at this point you should be doing. Like, playoff time, you can't really fuck around with the power play. You need a decent power play. ZEGRAS, MICHKOV, Martone, and DRYSDALE should be out. I mean, or JIRICEK, if he's on the lineup, should be out there. Somebody we haven't even talked about either. But like I said earlier in the podcast, it is, knock on wood, they haven't made the playoffs yet. They have to win tonight, obviously. But you can't go into the fucking playoffs with bottom 10 special teams and expect to do anything. So those are the two things that I'm worried about. Like, I understand we want to have fun. I'm not going to try to be negative, but I mean, shit still needs to be talked about. And those are the two things right now that are a problem. They're straight up a problem.
Especially the power play, because like the penalty kill has been good at times this year. So you could kind of hope, like, all right, maybe the penalty kill gets their shit together and goes on a little run. With the power play, what little run are you pointing to? If they score a single goal on the power play, it's a miracle.
Yeah. I will say it doesn't look as bad as it did in the beginning of the season. Like, they do get some decent looks, but I think we're so far past decent looks and them looking good. Like, we need to start seeing results, especially in the spot that they're in the playoff fighting spot that they're currently in. I don't think it's just good enough to get good looks. You need to start potting goals. And I think that's a decent reason why you see JIRICEK up here. Yes, he's deserved to call up, but Andre hasn't been playing bad. And I do think that more than 50% of the reason why they call JIRICEK up was a hopeful boost on the power play. I think Taka talked about it today. Like, I might use him on the power play. Like, yeah, you will if he's in the lineup. That's a guy who could boost the power play. I mean, he just finds a way to get that shot through. Like, remember, I always used to talk about Provorov just always finding a way to get the puck through. JIRICEK kind of does that same thing.
And he's a good passer too. It's not as if he's totally reliant on the shot, where it's like, yeah, we're just going to hope that this defenseman can bomb his way to a decent power play. But no, he's a legitimate shooting threat, which the Flyers do seem to really covet on their power play structure in particular. But on top of that, if there's a read to be made, if there's a pass to be made, he's going to make that read and make the right play. Like, there's not a whole lot of guys in the league who can do both. Yeah, and a lot of the guys who can do both are ridiculously good on the power play. Whether it be Ghost, whether it be Makar. Now, Makar's a better player. I'm going to come up with a couple superstars, but like Ghost, Bouchard, Makar. That is a nearly comprehensive list of guys who have super lethal shots. I don't know if Hughes has a really particularly lethal shot. I think he's just so good making plays that it kind of works for him. But it's a really rare. Yeah. Basically, guys who have the shot that JIRICEK has and can also make reads and make plays tend to be really exceptional power play guys.
And it's really, I mean, they need that, especially right now. So I think that's why he's here. And like Jackie Spiegel said, he also kind of deserves the call out because I think he has 13 points in his first 13 games down there with Lehigh. So he's been good down there. I mean, I haven't watched every single game, so I can't really comment on the defensive side of the game. I know he has had a couple of miscues, which all developing defensemen like him will go through. But it's exciting to say the least. Like, I think as a Flyers fan, from a non-objective standpoint, like seeing him up here is like, yeah, it's fun. Like the guy you just traded Brink for, who could potentially boost the power play, sure. Like, why not? Throw him on the third pair, shelter him a little bit with Sealer, and let's see what he can do with the top power play unit. I'm game. That's fun. That's what they should be doing. Like these are things that are fun that keep the fans engaged. Like, okay, you signed Porter Martone. Oh, okay. We're calling Pop up. That's all. Oh, wait. We're calling JIRICEK up now. This is sick. Like, we're one win away from a fucking playoff spot, and then we possibly will see Pittsburgh, who is the exact last team that we saw last in the playoffs. No, I lied.
That's crazy.
No, that was a complete lie because sometimes my brain ignores the bubble, Derek.
All right, yeah.
Bubble.
Your brain should ignore the bubble. Let's forget about the bubble. The last time we saw playoffs in Philly, the opponent was Pittsburgh.
You don't like the bubble, do you, Derek?
It doesn't count. None of that thing. It didn't even happen. First of all, I think I could get Travis Konecny to agree with me on that. It did not occur.
That's crazy. But sometimes my brain really does skip over it. Like, it just did right there. Islanders, and then we beat Montreal, then we got bounced by the fucking Isles, dude. What the fuck? Who's not even in the playoffs now? Crazy. Anything else you want to add before we wrap this one up? Anything we did not talk about? NESBITT going to Michigan. That's something we could probably talk about for a little bit. I mean, I think that's perfect for his development. Not going back to junior, like him going and playing with older players, 23, 24, 25-year-olds. I think that's exactly what he needs to do. Maybe a couple years there, maybe 2 years in college. I like it. Michigan's a good team too, so he'll have some skilled players around him. And he's been on fire the last month, I've heard.
Freaking Michael Hayes staying to become a counterterrorism agent in 2026.
I thought it was it you who was like, Gretzky decides to stay in college for another year or something like that.
Yes.
Is that you?
Because Michael Hayes is staying in Michigan to play with Jack Nesbitt. Gretzky has decided to stay in college.
I don't know. Why is he staying? Is because Montreal doesn't really have space for him right now?
I guess that.
Let's see. I'm going to look at Montreal's. So Suzuki's the center. Newhook, Zach Balduke, and then Philip Denault. It's not really like they're loaded down the middle.
Yeah, you would think he could get a spot in over Alex Newhook or Zach Bolduc.
Yeah. Hey, that just means he's coming to Philly next year. That's all I know. He's resigning.
Oh, yeah, it's like
an
an inverse coach situation.
We can talk about Sam Ersson since the fucking return of the Olympic break. 908 save percentage and a 199 goal against average in 8 games, 6-5-1. No.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
5-1-0.
Sam Ersson got abducted by aliens, and the aliens left behind a good goalie in his place.
Crazy, dude. How often?
That is at this point what I'm assuming happened.
How often do you see a guy go from like one of the worst goalies in the league to putting up a 199 goals against average in 8 games?
Not often. I mean, this time last year, this time last month, Sam Ersson was putting together one of the worst stretches in goalie history.
Yeah, he's bad.
And then he's doing this. That is genuinely impressive.
That's in
I mean, I don't know what to make
minutes.
of it.
And then Dan Vladar is 11-6-1 with a 907 save percentage and a 237 goals against average. So, I mean, both goalies have been really solid for them.
Yeah.
So, we got a huge game tonight. Successful live stream, episode 126. This was Chris Stumpo. You can follow me on Twitter at Chris Stumps, at the Liberty L, Derek Dunn at Suitable Alias, and go Floors.